different ways to make ice cream here today. Has anybody made ice cream here before? Nobody. You have. Okay. So a lot of people can be a little intimidated by it. There is a bit of a process to it, but it's really not that bad. So first up, I'm going to show you a really easy way to do it. It's only 2 ingredients. That's it. Super simple, super good, super easy. So all I have here is whipping cream and condensed milk. And you just really want to be gentle with that and fold it in. You don't want to incorporate any air into it because, as we all know, whipping cream whips, right? So we're not looking for that this time. So just nice and easy fold. Again, it's just cream and condensed milk. And then you want to refrigerate that for an hour and get it nice and cool. One of the biggest things when making ice cream is make sure that everything is very, very cold. So I'm going to get my ice cream maker ready here. We had a bit of trouble with our ice cream maker over the last few days, so we just went and got this one. Seems to be working a little better for me. But we're going to put it to the true test right now with all you guys watching me. We want to fill that up. We'll go to 1/4 of the way. And you want to get lots and lots of rock salt in there. And that's going to help keep that ice really cold. And you're just going to kind of do that in 2 or 3 layers. And that's going to keep that nice and cold for you. Okay, and then another little layer of salt. And we're going to put our 2 ingredient ice cream right in there. And in 15 minutes, hopefully, we're going to have ice cream. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you guys how to make a real traditional beet ice cream. Now, just because we use beets here today doesn't mean you have to use beets. You can really use whatever you want. You just have to make sure that the ratios are right. So you couldn't go and put, a cup of orange juice in there and expect that it's going to work. You've got to find a recipe that's going to work for that, which there's lots out there. Easy to find one. So don't be intimidated by flavoring your ice cream. It's really going to help make things a lot better. And who doesn't like flavored ice cream? So I'm going to put this on. And then we're going to get started on the beet ice cream. And there we go. That's it. 2 ingredient ice cream. We're going to let that churn for about 15-20 minutes while we make our other one. If you're using an ice cream maker like this, you may have to go back to it about halfway through, add a little bit of ice, a little bit of salt, kind of control that temperature for yourself. But it's as simple as that for that simple ice cream. So next, I'm going to show you the real traditional ice cream, and we're going to infuse that with some beet juice. So we've got 2 cups of cream right in the pot, 2 cups of milk right in. Now, when you're doing this with beets, we used a juicer. Whether that's something you have in your home or not, you don't have to use that. You can use a food processor, just put a little bit of water in there and blitz that up and then kind of strain it out and get that liquid from it. It's all really going to kind of give you the same effect. So when I juice my beets, our juicer gives us juice out of one side and pulp out of the other. So I've got some nice beet pulp there. I'm just going to put that in there while I cook it and kind of infuse those flavors together, get a little bit more beet out of it. And I've also got in the recipe, once you juice your beets, you're looking for 2 cups of liquid, and you want to reduce that down to a 1/4 cup. You can see it's a real nice dark beet color. It's got lots of flavor in there. So we're going to put that in there as well. And then you're going to want to take half your sugar. Turn this on in the meantime. And when you're making ice cream, you want a nice gentle heat. You don't want to try to rush things because that's how mistakes happen. You end up with scrambled eggs. May or may not have happened once or twice. But you can also fix it if that does happen to you. You can just strain that out as long as it's not cooked too far. So you want to add half your sugar in there. Give that a nice stir, get things going. I don't know if you can see in the mirror, but it's got a beautiful pink-purple color in there from the beets. And then fuse those flavors together. Get that going. So then while we're waiting for that to come up to temp, we're going to take our egg yolks that we separated from the whites.
You don't need that yet?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to put our egg yolks in a bowl with the other half of the sugar that you did not use in the milk and cream mixture. We're going to put that in there. And we're just going to kind of cream that together. It's going to change color a little bit, become a little lighter, become a little fluffier. That's what we're looking for. So you can see they're starting to lighten up now. Sugar's kind of dissolving a little bit in there. That's pretty well what you're looking for right there. The sugar's in there, it's not fully dissolved. It's kind of come a nice lighter color there. Give that a stir. Now in the meantime, we're gonna come check our ice cream over here. I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see the ice level's gone down some. So we're gonna push it down in there, pack it in a little tighter, give it a little stir. We're just going to top that up just a little bit. You want to make sure that you keep it nice and cold the whole time. And also, whenever I make it, the canister that I have the liquid in there, I put that in the freezer to start, just to kind of get a little extra chill on it. We had an ice cream maker that we were using for the last few days, and it just did not want to get cold enough. So we struggled. It was a bit of a rush, but we got some ice cream out after all, so we're doing all right. So we're just going to kind of push that in there a little more. Check our liquid, make sure it's not getting too hot over there. Give that a nice stir. As you can see in the mirror, that color is getting a lot darker. It's going to take on a lot more of that flavor. Believe it or not, Beets and ice cream is pretty good. And the great thing about the simple ice cream is it's nowhere near as much work. Not to say this is a lot of work. Anybody can do it. You just got to have patience with stuff like this. That seems to be the biggest thing. So you don't want to rush things. You don't want to scald your milk. You don't want that heat too hot. We are going to turn it up just a little bit though. Yeah, just be patient when you're making stuff like this. That's the best thing I can tell you to do. It's coming now. And you don't want to bring that to a boil, but you want to steam it. In the recipe also, we do let that kind of sit and soak on those flavors for about 25 minutes, but where I'm demoing for this for you guys today, we're just going to kind of speed that up a little bit. We'll just strain it and go right into it. You want to make sure you strain it, because if not, all that beet pulp that we put in there, you will get some of that in there, and it's not the pleasant thing. It's not bad, but we like a nice creamy, smooth ice cream, so that's what we're going to shoot for today. And you guys probably can't see, but we're starting to get a little outer layer of ice cream there, so we know that it's working. We really kind of do have to babysit this a little bit. It's not that bad, but make sure you pay some attention to it. Okay, so we're almost ready over here. You can see the steam starting to come. We know it's almost getting to that point. Turn it back down just a little bit. This is where you really want to control your temperatures in ice cream. So we're looking pretty good there. I'm gonna give this a strain now. And that one there. And then we're gonna do what's called tempering the eggs. Has anybody ever tempered eggs before? No, there's a lot of different things in baking that you use it for. Some people can be a little intimidated by it, but it's really not that bad. It's nothing to worry about. So you can see that beautiful, deep, rich beet liquid there. All right, we're gonna put that back on, and we're gonna put our liquid right back in there. Okay, so this is where what's tempering called comes into effect. So when you're doing tempering, you want to start really light and really easy on it. So we're just going to take a little bit in our ladle there. If you can see that, it's just about 1/4 of a ladle, and we're just going to literally put drips in at a time, just a couple drips. What we're trying to do here, what tempering the eggs is we're trying to heat these eggs back up without actually cooking them or giving them too much heat, because what will happen is you will get scrambled eggs. And nobody wants scrambled egg ice cream. So we're going to avoid that. So again, just a couple drips at a time. You can see the egg yolks are starting to take on some of that liquid. Constantly moving it, whisking it around. Starting to get a little more liquidy now. That's what we're looking for. And you want to put about 1/3 of that liquid into here. And then we're going to transfer it back into that pot and just slowly, gently cook it. And what's going to happen when we're doing that is it's going to basically become a custard. So that's how you would kind of make like creme anglaise or something like that. We're not making that. We're making ice cream. Beet ice cream. So we've got almost 1/3 of the liquid in. As you can see, the more I put in, I'm going a little more heavier. It's kind of getting up to temp now, so we know we're past that point where we could cook the eggs, so we're laughing now. So we got about 1/3 of the liquid in there, and we're ready to transfer this back in here. We're just going to pour that back in, and you just want to heat that on a medium to low heat. You really don't want to go high, because what happens is you get scrambled eggs yet again. So you constantly want to be stirring the bottom on that. Wooden spoon works well, a whisk. Just make sure you're constantly taking it off the bottom, because that's where the egg solids are going to go. They're going to cook on the bottom. You want to lift that back up and bring it throughout the whole mixture to get a nice smooth custard. And you're looking at about 5 to 8 minutes doing this. Really not that bad, but you're much better to sit here and babysit it than walk away and go paint your fingernails or do your toes or, you know, cut the lawn. You want to stay here and watch this, that's for sure. Also, in saying so, you can see that it's getting a little foamy there. That's because I was using a whisk. You're not really looking for the foaminess, so I'm going to switch to a spoon now. Wooden spoon works great. I was in a bit of a rush, couldn't find one, so I grabbed a metal spoon. It's all going to work the same. So we're just keeping that liquid moving around. You guys probably can't smell it, but I can smell the custard, the eggs starting to kind of cook in there a little bit. That's exactly what we're looking for. We know that that liquid's coming up again, so we're going to turn it down just a little bit. Keep stirring, keep stirring. I'm going to be a little daring and just go over here and check out this ice cream mix, see how that's making out. Salt, salt.
Is it one of those containers?
Yeah, I think I used it all. It's probably going to be yeah. So anyways, you can see our liquid's coming up here. It's starting to thicken just a tiny bit. We're looking basically for it to coat the back of the spoon and not run off like that is there. We kind of want it to be a little thicker than that. So we're just gonna keep going for that. And like I said, if you do end up getting a little too much heat in this, you can strain it out. There will be a little bit of egg solids on the bottom, but if you strain that out, you're still gonna be fine as long as you're left with a nice custard at the end of it. Almost there now. Really the last, 3 minutes is what's crucial because that's when it thickens up the most. So you really want to pay a lot of attention to it in the end. So our ice cream here is coming along pretty nice. And once your ice cream does come out of here, you are going to want to put it back in the freezer and just chill it a little more. It's going to help it not melt so fast, be a little nicer when you're eating it out of a bowl. Either way, it all tastes great. If you do use a whisk, you have a little bit of foam in there like I do. If you can see in the mirror, it's really not an issue. Don't worry about it because once we cook this liquid, we're going to cool it back down for probably an hour or two anyways. We want to get that really cold before we go to the ice cream maker with it. And same thing, you want to have that ice cream maker really cold because it does make a difference. You can always kind of tilt your pot up too. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you can see it's kind of starting to cook on the bottom a little bit. That's what we're looking for. We want to keep bringing all that up before it does cook into eggs. And that's what's going to give us our nice custard body. Call it a little turn. So is anybody going to try this at home? No, maybe not. If you do, call me, because I'd like to see your end result. Okay, it's starting to get really nice and thick now. That's basically what you're looking for, is that coating on the back of the spoon. And so we're going to shut that off the heat now. Just stir it, because it's still going to continue to cook for a little bit. And then you're just going to want to transfer that into another pan, preferably something lengthways. That way it's going to cool a lot quicker, because usually when you're making ice cream, you're trying to get it done, not save it for later, right? So anyways, that's the consistency you're looking for right there. And as that's in the fridge, it's going to thicken up. And yet again, once you get it in the churner, it's going to thicken up even more and become ice cream. So that's pretty well all the steps to making your custard for ice cream. And then you saw how I put it in the churner, and away you go. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Well, why don't we get you to try this, and we'll see your thoughts on that. Okay, so I've got some beet ice cream here that I made this morning. That's kind of what it looks like when it's all